The jewelry industry does not want you to hear this. For every dollar you spend on designer jewelry, less than 20 cents goes into the actual metal and stone on your body. The rest disappears into marketing budgets, licensing deals, retail rent, and profit margins so wide you could park a truck inside them. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on exactly how much of your money is real and how much is just a name on a box. By the end of this video, you will never look at a jewelry store the same way again. Let us start with the number that the entire industry is built on. The average markup on designer jewelry in the United States sits between 200% and 300% above manufacturing cost. That means a ring that costs $400 to make lands on a velvet cushion with a price tag of $1,200 to $1,600. But that is the average. Some brands push the multiplier to 5 times, 8 times, even 10 times what the piece is actually worth in materials and labor. The question is not whether you are overpaying. You are. The question is, how much and for what? The first layer of the ripoff is what the industry calls the brand tax. This is the invisible surcharge you pay for a logo, a color, or a story. Tiffany is the textbook example. The Tiffany T bracelet in 18-karat gold contains roughly $400 to $600 worth of metal at current spot prices. The retail price is $3,500. That is a 5 to 8 times increase from raw material to register. Research in consumer psychology shows that identical jewelry is perceived as 30 to 50% more valuable when presented in branded luxury packaging. Tiffany did not just design a box, they engineered an emotional trigger. LVMH paid $15.8 billion to own that trigger in 2021. They did not buy a workshop. They bought a feeling. The second layer is the licensing scam, and this is where it gets ugly. Fashion houses like Gucci, Versace, and Armani do not make their own jewelry. They license their name to third-party manufacturers who produce the pieces in the same factories that churn out mass-market accessories. The licensing fee is typically 5 to 8% of wholesale cost. That means for a $250 Gucci ring, Gucci receives roughly $6 to $10 for the use of its name. The rest goes to the manufacturer and the retailer. The actual production cost of most fashion licensed jewelry sits between $30 and $60. You are not buying Gucci craftsmanship. You are buying a font on a clasp. This model is identical to what Fossil Group runs with watches. Same factories, same parts, different logo on the dial. In jewelry, the same game plays out with even less oversight. At least a watch has a movement you can evaluate. A gold-plated brass ring has nothing under the hood to inspect. The licensing model depends on one thing: you never ask what is actually inside. The third layer is the retail multiplier, and this is the one nobody talks about. When a piece of jewelry moves from manufacturer to wholesaler to retailer, the price doubles at every stage. A ring that costs $100 to manufacture sells to a wholesaler for $200. The wholesaler sells to a retailer for $400. The retailer puts it in a case and charges $800 to $1,200. That is 3 to 4 layers of markup before the piece even reaches your finger. And each layer justifies its cut with overhead, rent, staff, insurance, lighting, security. All real costs. But the cumulative effect is a product that costs 8 to 12 times its material value by the time you swipe your card. Direct-to-consumer brands like Me Jury and Catbird exist specifically to collapse this chain. By selling online and cutting out the wholesaler and the department store, they deliver the same 14-karat gold, the same lab-certified stones, at 2 to 3 times manufacturing cost instead of 8 to 10. The quality is identical. The materials come from the same refineries. The difference is who gets your money between the factory and your finger. The fourth layer is the diamond markup, and this is the deepest cut of all. The traditional diamond supply chain is one of the most opaque pricing systems in consumer goods. A rough diamond is mined, sorted, cut, polished, certified, and mounted. At each stage, a margin is added. By the time a 1-carat round brilliant reaches a retail case, it has passed through 5 to 7 intermediaries, and the final price can be 6 to 10 times the cost at the mine gate. But here is the part the industry is fighting to suppress. Lab-grown diamonds are chemically, optically, and physically identical to mined diamonds. The same carbon crystal structure, the same hardness, the same fire and brilliance. A gemological lab cannot tell them apart without specialized equipment. The difference is the price. A 1-carat lab-grown diamond costs 60 to 80% less than a mined stone of equivalent quality. The natural diamond industry has spent billions convincing you that a stone pulled from the earth is worth more than one grown in a reactor. But the product is the same, only the story is different. And that story is worth about $4,000 per carat to the people selling it. The fifth layer is the seasonal markup, and this one is hiding in plain sight. Jewelry prices spike 20 to 30% around 3 dates: Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and Christmas. Retailers know you are buying under emotional pressure with a deadline, and they price accordingly. The same necklace that costs $300 in September costs $380 in February. No change in materials, no change in labor, just a change in how desperate you are to buy it. The smartest money in jewelry is spent in January, March, and September, when demand creators and retailers discount to clear inventory. Now here is where I have to be honest with you, because not every dollar you spend above material cost is wasted. A portion of the markup pays for real things: design, quality control, warranty. The experience of walking into a beautiful store and being treated well. The security of buying from a brand that will repair or replace a piece 10 years from now. These things have value. Pandora is a fascinating case study in this space. Their gross margin in 2025, 78%. That means for every $100 you spend at Pandora, $78 is gross profit. The raw materials, the silver, the stones, the labor, all of it costs Pandora just $22 out of your $100. And now, because silver prices have more than doubled, Pandora is switching to platinum-plated jewelry to protect those margins. Not to give you a better product, to keep their profit the same while the material changes underneath. The price you pay does not move. Only what you receive does. The problem is not that markup exists. The problem is that 80% of buyers have no idea how large it is and no framework for evaluating whether the premium is justified. A 3 times markup on a handmade piece from an independent jeweler who sources their own stones and does their own metalwork is honest pricing. A 10 times markup on a mass-produced piece with a licensed logo is not. The math is the same. The value is not. So how do you protect yourself? 5 rules. Rule 1. Always calculate the metal value. Gold trades at a public price per gram. You can find it in 2 seconds on your phone. If a retailer will not tell you the gold weight of a piece, that is your answer. They are hiding the math because the math does not flatter them. Rule 2. Ask for the stone certification. Any reputable seller of diamonds or gemstones provides a certificate from an independent lab. If a piece is sold without certification, the stone is either too small to matter or too questionable to certify. Either way, you should know before you buy. Rule 3. Compare the same piece across 3 channels. Check the brand's own website an authorized retailer, and the second-hand market. The gap between retail and resale tells you exactly how much of your purchase is brand tax. If a piece loses 50% of its value the moment you leave the store, half of what you paid was marketing, not material. Rule 4. Buy off-season. January and September are the best months to buy jewelry. Retailers are clearing holiday and summer inventory, and the discounts are real. Buying a Valentine's Day gift in January instead of February can save you 15 to 20% on the exact same piece. Rule 5. Consider direct-to-consumer and independent jewelers. Brands that sell directly to you, without a wholesale layer, consistently deliver better material value per dollar. The trade-off is that you lose the brand recognition. But if you are buying jewelry for yourself, or for someone who values quality over a logo, the savings are dramatic. The jewelry industry is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. The design just happens to favor the seller at every single stage of the chain. Marketing inflates perception. Licensing multiplies price without adding value. Retail layers compound the markup until the final number bears almost no relationship to the physical object on your body. But here is the good news. Once you understand the system, you cannot be fooled by it. The knowledge in this video is worth more than any discount code or flash sale, because the best deal in jewelry is not finding a lower price. It is knowing what the price should be in the first place. Across the entire industry, one pattern repeats. The brands that spend the most on telling you their story are the ones charging you the most to hear it. The brands that spend the least on marketing and the most on materials are the ones that quietly deliver the best value. Your money, your choice. But now, it is an informed one. Tell us in the comments which brand surprised you most. And if this changed how you think about your next jewelry purchase, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.